Amanda here from createyourfuture.co. So today I have Aletha joining me. Hey, Aletha.
Hi.
Hey guys, we have an exciting video on how to change your specific person. I mean, how to change anyone, any situation. So I'm really excited about this video. It's really for anybody that wants to change their current relationship or get into a relationship, or you have any situation that you really want to change. So, you know, I think one of the biggest things that we sort of overlook is that, you know, we think sometimes people aren't changeable, but, you know, we create, and everyone is us pushed out and everything is us pushed out. So yes, you can absolutely change anybody, manifest anybody, because you create. So, you know, to think that we can't change somebody is to say, well, I create, but these things, but I can't do that. It's either we're a creator or we're not. So we're going to get into that. Of course, we're going to talk about everyone is you pushed out. Guys, just before we dive into it, we do have a free course, how to find your blocks to manifest anything fast. Link in the description below. And also, yeah, and Aletha's got a success story from one of her clients. And if you would like any extra help, her clients are getting tons of success. The link is in the description below, so definitely check it out. So yes, let's dive into the success story.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Well, I have a client who decided they wanted to be in a relationship, and they actually had a specific person that they wanted to be in that relationship with. So they started doing all of the things that we do in order to manifest someone into our life with intentions, inner conversations, imaginal scenes. And as it turns out, the person or that SP that they were wanting to imagine or create into their lives, manifest into their lives, fell madly in love with them and was devoted to them. And what was really cool was that the person that they had chosen, and they didn't realize this when they first, because they just kind of somebody they met and didn't know really well, but what they discovered, the person was actually coming from a place of a lot of heartache and a lot of sadness over a period of years, and it had been a long-term thing. And my client going to all the effort or not effort of manifesting somebody into their life actually created an empowering situation for this new person with love, and gave them a reason, purpose, gave them a sense of thriving, and it took them from the old to the new. And so we empower people with our intentions, with our imaginations, with when we're creating, we have the option to empower or disempower. And of course, we're always going to choose empower, right?
Exactly. You know, I remember, you know, years ago, I was talking to somebody and, you know, and we were having a conversation about everyone as you pushed out. And it really came down to, it was like, you know, why would you think badly of somebody? They don't want to be the person that rejects you. I mean, they most surely don't want to do anything to you that would make you feel terrible or rejected. So why project that onto them and assume that they are going to be like that, right? You know, I think that is like really huge. The other thing, you know, I think that we hear quite a bit is things like, well, I don't want to make someone love me because, you know, is that not good for them, not fair to them? And it's like, but you're already making them reject you and not want to be with you. And if you want to be with them, then you think that they want to be with you, then they will. I mean, aren't you an amazing person? Aren't you an absolutely amazing girlfriend, wife that anybody would be absolutely happy to be with, right? So, you know, you're doing it anyway. You're constantly always doing it. You're always choosing whether somebody wants to be your friend or not, whether somebody wants to be in a relationship with you or not. I mean, you're creating your reality every minute of the day. You can't turn it on, turn it off. Everyone is you pushed out. Everything is you pushed out is happening all the time, whether you're consciously directing your thoughts in the way that you want or negatively spiraling out into like some story. You're always doing it. You never can turn it off.
That's exactly right. And Neville Goddard says that we don't even give people half a chance to be the people that we want them to be, or that we want to experience, the things we want to experience with them, simply because we automatically assume the negative. You know, that they're going to always treat us in this negative way, that they're going to be disrespectful, that they're not going to choose us, when we don't give them a chance, because we're creating them to be those things. We're disempowering them to be in love with us, or be in love, period, which is a wonderful feeling, right? And or whatever the situation might be, you can empower people in many, many different ways, not always just SPs, but but definitely. And besides, when you're doing that, just think, you're empowering them to experience all the beauty of who you are. And there's a lot there.
Exactly, exactly. You know, I mean, everyone is you pushed out, so they're constantly overhearing all of your thoughts. You know, I mean, just for a day, I challenge you guys, just for a day, when you hear something, you know, like, let's say, you know, your friend is gonna do something, you know, say they're gonna, like, you know, apply for a job, and, you know, in that moment, you know, say to yourself, they're going to get the job, they're going to be successful. Or, you know, somebody says that they're making a new recipe, like, automatically you just say to yourself, that's going to be a great recipe, it's going to turn out great. Like, just for a day, when you have, you know, hear what people are doing in their lives, just try giving the positive to that, right? And just listen to yourself to see, like, I know I'm guilty of it, right? Like, you know, somebody's like, you know, said something to me, like, you know, in a networking event or something, and I'm like, oh, that'll never work out. And then I'm like, wait a minute, you know what I mean? Like, you know, and it's like, no, that is going to work out. They're going to be successful. Like, start giving away success and hope. Like, I know one of my famous lines is when I, you know, hear, like, when I hear people talk, you know, about complaining about how they've been treated about other people. And it comes down to, well, if you don't want anyone to disrespect you, don't accuse them of disrespecting you. Don't assume they are. If you don't want someone to bully you, don't assume they're bullying you. If you don't want to be treated a certain way, don't assume that that behavior means that, right?
Right. And yeah, and I love that. I think it's so brilliant, what you've suggested now, just for a day, like a challenge, just for a day to think the best of other people, you know, and like your story with the networking thing, we're like, well, that won't work out. Well, of course not, because you just said it wouldn't. And I do that. And, you know, and, you know, sometimes I have to counsel little people like my grandkids, you know, and you look at the situation like, oh, that'll never work out, right? You know, they have to go through this, and this, because we know, right? We grew up through all that. And then I think, no, I'm putting all these little standards on these people. I don't need to do that. I should always think the best of them and see them from that place. And, you know, when we're working with our SPs as well, you know, I want them to be in a loving, committed relationship with me. I want them to adore me. we have all these wonderful things we want from them, but we have to create from who we are first. So what are we to them? You know, what are we to them? And so am I love to them? Am I devoted to them? You know, am I totally unconditional love to them? And that comes back to your challenge in my mind, that we think the best of other people through who we are. And we have to be that best, because you can use this whole philosophy on yourself, you know, empower yourself to be the empowering person for other people.
Exactly. You know, I mean, and the funny thing is, right, like, let's say that networking example, or let's say, you know, Jerry's like, I'm going to start a business, and I'm like, Jerry, you know, it's never going to work out. It's too hard. And then, you know, then that's what I think. And then Jerry comes back and it didn't work out. And then I feel terrible, because I'm like, oh, I feel bad for them. You know what I mean? So, you know, it doesn't take any more energy to wish good on somebody than that you love and want to see successful than it does for the negative. It just takes a minute to catch yourself and start getting in that habit, right? You know, just get into that habit, and, you know, take some time to just be like, okay, you know, what's my mom working on, my brother, my sister, my specific person? Like, what do you want to see in their lives? Like, I intend my sister is brilliant at running a business, and she's wildly successful, and she's so excited about it. You know, I intend that Andrew's business is always successful. Like, it's funny. Like, I'll sit there and you know, and I'll think to myself, I'm like, I intend Andrew gets 3 new clients. And all of a sudden, the next like couple days, he's like, I'm so busy, I got 3 new clients. I'm like, well, did you now? You know, so, you know, just, it's like Oprah, hand it out. Like, you get a new car, you get a new car, you get a new car. You know?
And the truth is, we have that power. We have that power.
We do. And, you know, and because we're creating everything all the time anyway, right? And I think one of the major things that I do see is, like, don't, you know, feel bad or think that you're controlling people when you say, you know, intend that they want to be with you or assume they want to be with you, because you're always controlling everything in your reality anyway, whether you admit to it or not. It's always happening. You can't turn it off. If you say, okay, well, look at, I don't want to, you know, manifest them and intend that they want to be with me because it's like controlling and manipulating them, all you're doing is giving away your power. You're dropping your magic wand and saying, no, I'm not going to be responsible for my own happiness. I'm not going to, you know, because you're already manifesting the rejection and them not wanting to be with you. You've consciously manifested that. You know, you've got great power. There's no way around it. It's always happening. But I mean, you can look at it as a blessing or a curse. I happen to look at it as a blessing. I can have what I want in my life. I can be happy. And, you know, I think the big step there is to start intending and believing that you're a great person and anybody would be absolutely honored to be with you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's really beautiful. And one of the things Neville Goddard says that, you know, whatever we place our attention on, that's what we're creating. So whatever you're thinking, whatever you're giving your thought time to, your attention to, you are actually creating. Everything in your world you have created one way or the other because you have given it your attention. So why not give your attention to something that's really positive and improving the lives of other people? Because when you're improving their lives, guess who else is getting yours is being improved, right? Because it all gets reflected back. And we interact, and especially if it's with people in our worlds that we are associating with and engaged with in some way. Well, we're gonna feel it's gonna be reflected back on us. So give them the very best of who you are, so that they have the very best of who they are, and then it all kind of works out really cool. And it is. We're just blessing people all over the place, and that it's also like, I like to look at it as like, I'm just spreading happiness with my wonderful power here, you know?
Exactly. And then everybody says, oh, every time I'm with you, good things happen to me in my life. And they want to be around you more, right?
Yeah, it's actually, yeah. And, you know, and then we have that wonderful little sync. It's like, yeah, I know. It's like, I know.
It's like, oh, I have no idea why everything works out so well when you're around me and you tell me what's going on in your life, right?
Right. Well,
you know, yeah. So really when it comes down to changing your specific person, it's like, be okay with it, you know, be confident enough that, you know, it's that you want to, you know, create someone to want to be with you. And, you know, and all you need to do is change your assumptions and your thoughts about them, you know, in the minute to minute, day by day, right? You need to live with all of your thoughts from the standpoint that they are the person that you want them to be, right? So for them to be and show up as the person you want, you have to think of them that way. So again, you know, if you don't want them to disrespect you, don't make their behavior mean that, right? That's not coming from, you know, this loving sort of supportive relationship, right? You know, it's like easy when, say, somebody like your spouse, you know, criticizes something you do, instead of looking at it from the point of view, like, you don't like me, you don't like who I am, look at it from the point of view of, okay, you know what? You're trying to help me be a better person. Thank you for that, you know, and more, you know, make everything they do in line with the person that you want them to be. So get clear on the person you want them to be. That's really important.
It really is, especially if they're showing up in a way that you really do not want to experience with them. Then you have to really do that. And that's the joy, you know, like what I have done in the past has been that, well, that's not that person anymore, because I'm living with internally the new version, and that's who's showing up. And that's in those processes, that's who did show up then. And it's a process of staying in there. And it's just an adjustment in our thinking, in our perspective, that I'm going to intend to always bless people. I intend to be to empower them, and why I'm not the person you love, right?
Exactly. So I think this was an amazing video. I think it was really great. I think we touched on a few things I've seen in the comments and stuff from people. And, you know, really my main message is have a good self-concept. You deserve to be happy. You deserve the person that you want to be with you. And that's a gift for them, and give them that gift, because you're good enough to be a gift in somebody's life.
Exactly.
Like, seriously.
Absolutely.
You know?
I second that.
Oh, so awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Aletha.
Thank you I love doing this with you. Thank you.
I know, they're great. And guys, thank you for liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. I want everyone to say right now, I'm worth it and I can have what I want. And I am a gift to any specific person that I choose to be with. And they're going to want to be with me.
Yes.
Yes. In the words of RuPaul, if you can't love yourself, how are you going to love somebody else? Anyways, guys, thanks for liking, commenting, and subscribing. And we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.